Thank you for staying with us on Consider This. Sharaad and I tonight are talking to the newly minted Kelantan DAP chairperson, Datuk Zaid Ibrahim. I read a report in which you were speaking to reporters about after announcing your role that you said, to quote you, "I have decided to help DAP explain to the Malays who are fearful and distrusting of the party that DAP is not racist, extremist or anti-Islam." And I thought that was particularly interesting because that ties into what you said just before the break about the character of this party, that while it is perceived to be a Chinese-only party. Now, what your assessment of how you view DAP, what is the character of this party in your eyes?
Well, I can only rely on the documents, the policies they have enunciated over the years. It's a democratic party, it is multicultural, it fights for the rule of law, it's against corruption. I mean, those are the big issues which I think are important. But unfortunately, in my view, a lot of the Malays, especially in the East, their focus is on something else. They always feel threatened. A lot of their energy and their anger is directed to issues which are actually, in my view, are not that threatening or not that important. Issues like, for example, you say DAP is anti-Malay. Well, I don't see any significant proof of that, you know. They may cater for the Chinese more than others, but that's because that's their raison d'etre. I mean, that's how they started. As for the Malays themselves, I think it's such a waste that you are being sidetracked by these people who say you are being attacked by the Chinese, your religion is being attacked by this and that, when they should be focusing on the real issues facing them. And like I said, when they go to school, when they come out, do they get a job? Do they have the skill? You know, when they go to the hospital, do they have the medicine? Do they have to wait 2 months or 2 weeks? These are life important issues that I think we should focus on. So the Malay energy, in my view, over the last many years, has, because of PAS and UMNO, has been taken away from the real thing. And I think it's such a shame because I don't see Malays as being racist, you know. I mean, I don't see, when I grew up in the kampong, I don't remember we having such strong aversion towards Chinese or Christian. No. But suddenly, over the last couple of years, that feeling is getting stronger. But that's also because our leadership, in my view, is weak. You know, they don't want to deal with this issue. They don't want to explain to the people what this country is about. I mean, if you want Malays to understand democracy, then you have to explain to the Malays, if we are a democracy to start, then we have to explain that, you know, you have differences of opinion, you have rights, you have things that people do just like you do. You have your own rights, the others too have rights, and you have to be mutual respect. Then you don't have much problem. But we don't explain the fundamentals of this country. Sometimes we are a democracy, and sometimes we are a Muslim state, a Muslim country, but I don't know whether, certainly not the Indonesian model. I don't know, are we an Iranian model? Are we a Saudi model? So the kind of Islam itself is not very clear. Is it enough for some people to make pronouncements and change everything, policies? So that's why we have conflicts. And that is why I feel that dissipates your energy.
But you know, because another reading is that that's all very cynical, that this in fact is a way to mobilize support, right? So if you're an ethnic leader, you need enemies, you need the other in order to draw boundaries around your own group, and that this politics of constantly fearing or being suspicious of the other is actually well thought through as a way of maintaining political power. I mean, if that is, and I don't know if you agree with that, then how do you work against it? I mean, what exactly can you do?
Of course, I'm sure. I mean, Donald Trump would do the same thing.
Right,
I mean,
and it's not unique to Malaysia and Malays, right?
Yeah, but that's why I feel that if you care enough about the Malays, then you must address these issues in a rational way. You must address the issues in a way that, if you want them to progress, and you want the countries to progress, the models don't change very much. If you look at a progressive country, the features are like this. You know, and that's how the people live. That's how the community have harmony and peace. But if you want another model, if you think you have a better model, then you must explain the rudiments of that model and see whether it works. Because we don't have a clear identity issue, so every community, every group, or Kelantanese or whatever, Indians, you know, we all have our own identity. We live in a silo.
Right.
We protect that identity, and we always feel threatened because we don't understand the whole. So the parts keep clicking at each other. And that takes away the energy of this country from moving forward because we have no time. We have no time to focus on the real stuff.
So in addressing the anxieties, not just of Malays, but also of other races, in addressing those anxieties, do you think it dissipates those anxieties? Because the underlying issue, as you claim, is the lack of, a conviction of identity. Is that right?
Yes. No, I don't think society can move forward without clarity, without basic principles being agreed within the community. We tried that, as I said. We tried in 1957 in a short term.
Right.
And then we have now a different, later on, it moves to a different kind of explanation as to how we're going to be in one country. And then everybody interprets the Constitution to suit their own idea of they even have different version of the Constitution or interpretation of the Constitution. And then you have a different interpretation of rights, different interpretation of privilege. Until we resolve this, we're not going to look at the economy, the education. We're not going to look at this country moving forward. I mean, why do some factories closed? Recently, we have got factories in the Negeri Sembilan closed now. 168 unemployed people become unemployed. We have to understand why they leave this country. Because if we don't understand why, things will continue, and the lives of the people cannot be better. The Malay's order.
I wonder about strategies. I mean, what kind of strategies are you taking?
Right.
You talk about reason, and I think
I think reason is very powerful.
Yes, well, okay.
But is it enough, though?
Yeah, and people will say that, it's on the symbolic level. It is on the, it's about sentiment, and that you have to somehow mobilize alternatives or counter narratives through sentiment.
True. I understand. It is not easy. But I always believe that human progress is possible only if reason prevails. I mean, and it's not always easy because we have been here for thousands of years, and I think we are here today because reason prevails, because facts prevail. The human nature prevails, in my view. I have a lot of faith. The understanding the people have, so long as you can guide them from the excesses of those negative energy, I call them. So I feel that we can be great, of course. But just like you have a football team, you cannot have a football team that has got different style, different features from Barcelona or Liverpool. You must have some of those main things. You can't change. That's the way things are. And this country, until we resolve those uncertainties, and so long, and until we are willing to state and paint the big picture and all these issues that we have to address, and I think we have to address openly. No fudging, The problem is, and that's why I don't like position, once you have position, you want to protect the position.
Right. You have that much more to lose, right?
Yes. Whereas a freelancer like me has a bit more time to talk about what I think should be. But I understand the reality is you still must have some platform.
Sure.
Right.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back on Consider This. Don't go anywhere.